Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and feeling that you're not alone. The silence is heavy, the air turns cold, and for a brief moment, you feel a shiver run down your spine. Is it just your imagination, or something beyond our understanding? The world is full of mysteries, supernatural stories that defy logic and make us question what we truly know about reality. What would you do if you encountered a spirit? And what if a simple object carried a curse with it? Many people believe that the supernatural is just superstition, but there are accounts, documents, and even official records of unexplained phenomena. Terrifying exorcisms, documented reincarnations, cursed objects that brought misfortune to their owners, these are cases that challenge science and make us reflect on the unknown. And the scariest part? Some of these stories continue to happen to this day. Get ready to dive into real-life stories of demonic possession, vengeful ghosts, haunted houses, and rituals that should never have been performed. You may doubt it now, but by the end of this video, you might start seeing the world with different eyes. The case of Anneliese Michel is one of the most disturbing accounts of demonic possession in modern history. A young German woman who, in the 1970s, underwent intense exorcism sessions after being diagnosed with multiple demonic entities inside her body. What began with simple seizures soon turned into a nightmare of terrifying proportions. Eerie voices came out of her mouth, her body was thrown against walls, and she developed an intense aversion to religious symbols. But was all of this just an extreme psychiatric case, or a real manifestation of the supernatural? Many believe that the church and science are engaged in a silent battle when it comes to exorcism. While doctors talk about epilepsy and dissociative disorders, exorcist priests claim that some manifestations defy any logical explanation. The case of Anneliese Michel raises an uncomfortable question: what if some mental illnesses are, in fact, something beyond human comprehension? For those looking to better understand this phenomenon, books like The Rite by Matt Baglio and Hostage to the Devil by Malachi Martin bring frighteningly real accounts of documented possessions and the spiritual battles fought behind the scenes at the Vatican. The idea that supernatural entities can take control of a body is as old as humanity itself. However, what few people know is that there are strict protocols within the Catholic Church to determine whether a case is truly demonic possession. Among the most common signs are superhuman strength, knowledge of unknown languages, and an uncontrollable aversion to sacred objects. But if the exorcism was the solution for Anneliese Michel, why was her fate so tragic? Perhaps some forces are more powerful than we imagine. Imagine a 3-year-old child describing in detail the life of another person, including names, places, and events that she could never have known. This was the case of Shanti Devi, an Indian girl who, from a very young age, claimed to have lived in another city, been married, and even died during childbirth. At first, her parents thought it was just childish imagination, but the accuracy of the information became impossible to ignore. When investigators took the girl to the city she described, the coincidences were too disturbing to be denied. Science, of course, has its explanations. Some speak of cryptomnesia, the brain's ability to unconsciously store information and reproduce it as if it were one's own memories. Others, like Dr. Ian Stevenson, dedicated their lives to studying reincarnation, documenting hundreds of cases where children reported past lives with impressive detail. Are these memories just tricks of the mind, or are we facing one of the greatest mysteries of existence? If you want to delve deeper into the topic, books like 20 Suggestive Cases of Reincarnation offer fascinating research on this phenomenon. And what if, somehow, memories could transcend death? Many cultures have believed this for millennia. In Spiritism, reincarnation is seen as a necessary cycle for the soul's learning process. In Hinduism, it is an absolute truth. But regardless of belief, the fact is that stories like Shanti Devi's make us question what really happens after we leave. After all, what if our souls have walked this earth before, carrying secrets we still cannot decipher? There are things in the world that seem to carry something beyond their physical matter, as if they are witnesses to dark events, imbued with an energy that defies any logical explanation. Thomas Busby's chair is one such object. It is said that whoever sits on it is signing their death sentence. Created in the 18th century, the chair became a symbol of a macabre mystery after Busby, a condemned criminal, allegedly cursed the piece of furniture before being hanged. Since then, numerous strange deaths have been associated with the chair, making it one of the most feared cursed objects in history. Many believe the curse is nothing more than superstition, but the records of tragedies linked to the chair are frighteningly concrete. During World War II, soldiers who dared to sit on it died in combat shortly afterward. Workers who tested the legend suffered inexplicable fatal accidents. The fear was so great that, in the 1970s, the owner of a pub decided to hang the chair on the wall so no one could touch it anymore. But was that enough to contain whatever was connected to it? This isn't the only supposedly cursed object in the world. The Dybbuk box, Bela Lugosi's mirror, and even the Annabelle doll are part of a dark list of artifacts shrouded in paranormal mysteries. If all of this is just coincidence, why do so many stories follow the same pattern? What makes an object become a channel for unknown forces? And more importantly, is there any way to break these curses? Myrtle's Plantation, in Louisiana, is considered one of the most haunted places in the United States. Built in the 18th century, this mansion carries a history of tragedies, mysteries, and unexplainable occurrences. They say its corridors echo whispers at night, mirrors reveal the faces of those who have passed away, and certain doors insist on opening by themselves. But no story compares to that of Chloe, the slave who, according to legend, was hanged after poisoning her master's children. Her spirit is said to still wander the property, condemned to relive her pain forever. What makes Myrtle's Plantation so terrifying isn't just the number of reported apparitions, but the fact that many of the phenomena have been recorded by visitors. Photos show inexplicable silhouettes, employees report footsteps coming from empty rooms, and guests swear they've seen figures watching them in the middle of the night. Skeptics say it's all an illusion, but how do you explain the recurrence of these reports over the centuries? Some paranormal investigations have been conducted on site, revealing activities that defy any rational explanation. But Myrtle's Plantation isn't the only one. Around the world, mansions, castles, and even abandoned hospitals carry similar stories, like the Island of Dolls in Mexico and Waverly Hills Sanatorium. What makes a place become a portal to the supernatural? Can tragic events really leave a mark on physical space, or are we dealing with something much bigger than we imagine? There are stories that shouldn't be told, rituals that shouldn't be performed, and doors that should never be opened. But human curiosity often ignores these warnings. Throughout history, various people have tried to invoke entities, seek forbidden knowledge, or defy natural laws, only to face terrifying consequences. One of the most famous cases involves a group of teenagers who attempted to perform a ritual to communicate with spirits in the 1990s. What started as a joke ended with one of them mysteriously disappearing and the others being terrorized by shadows that seemed to follow them for weeks. These aren't just urban legends, there are records of ancient documents that speak of forbidden rituals and what happens to those who dare to perform them. Some say the Vatican keeps secret archives on extreme exorcism cases, invocation rituals, and dangerous artifacts. There are rumors that certain manuscripts have never been released because their content could put the world at risk. Whether or not this is true, no one can say for sure. But what we do know is that many who have dabbled in the occult deeply regretted it. Even in the modern world, some people risk practicing rituals that promise power, protection, or forbidden knowledge. But is it worth it? Many cultures warn about the dangers of contacting the unknown. In Japan, there are stories of people who tried to perform the 100 candles game and ended up hearing whispers from the beyond. In Latin America, there are accounts of individuals who attempted Santa Muerte rituals and faced macabre consequences. The supernatural may be fascinating, but the question remains, How far are we willing to pay the price for crossing that line? The fear of the unknown has accompanied humanity since the earliest times. In every corner of the planet, different cultures tell stories of supernatural creatures lurking in the shadows, waiting for the unwary. In Mexico, there are accounts of La Llorona, the spirit of a woman who cries for her drowned children and haunts rivers, luring those who approach with her anguished lament. In the United States and Canada, people speak of the Wendigo, a creature that was once human but was corrupted by cannibalism and now roams the forests in search of its next victim. In the Caribbean and South America, the dreaded chupacabra has become one of the most disturbing mysteries of modern cryptozoology. Reports describe a small being with glowing eyes and sharp teeth that attacks animals and sucks their blood dry. Some people claim to have seen these creatures, while others believe they are myths created to explain the unexplainable. But when we look at the sheer number of accounts and the similarities between stories from completely different places, it's hard not to wonder, are they all lying, or is there something much bigger behind these legends? No matter the culture, there's always something lurking in the shadows. In Europe, creatures like werewolves and banshees terrify generations with their appearances and curses. In Japan, yokai take bizarre forms to play tricks or devour souls. Each myth carries a warning, a reminder that the supernatural may be closer than we think. And if we stop to think about it, how many of these stories are just legends, and how many are records of something real, disguised as folklore? Now that you know these terrifying stories, here's the question: how safe are we from what we can't see? The supernatural has always been present in human history, and there are accounts that simply cannot be ignored. But what about you? Have you ever experienced something unexplainable? Have you ever felt that sensation of being watched when no one else was around? Perhaps there are more mysteries around us than we imagine. If these stories have shaken you, perhaps it's time to look at the unknown with different eyes. Do ghosts really exist? Can objects carry curses? And what about the forbidden rituals that some people insist on performing? The world is full of unanswered questions, and many of them may be much closer than we think. If you want to keep exploring these mysteries and understand even more about the supernatural, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like. That way, you won't miss any videos about real-life stories that defy logic. Leave a comment sharing which of these stories shocked you the most, and if you have an experience to share, we want to hear it. Until the next video.